So, how do you know that the deity or God or goddess or spiritual force or practice or system that you have been working with during your spiritual journey may be time to switch up and change? Spoiler alert, it's not working. What's up, my loves? Jasmine Atten here, Mystic at the Crossroads, your favorite witch on YouTube, and Magic Tribe, friends and family. It is time for us to have a little talk, okay? How do you know that it may be time for you to switch or change your spiritual practice, the deities, the god or goddess that you work with, or your system altogether? That's what we're going to dive into today. I was inspired for the title of this video through my 4-month-long journey of going within, doing shadow work and working on myself, and coming out with a complete change in how I practice rituals. If you have not watched my video previous to this one, I will link it somewhere up here, down there in the description box. It will be somewhere here for you to watch on working with your shadow self and how to get real and unstuck your life to be where you want to be. Part of that was really coming to fully understand that what I was doing wasn't necessarily not working, but I had outgrew it, and the spiritual energies that I was working with had done all that they were able to do for me, given where I have come. This may be the same for you. Now, I'm not talking about you've done a couple rituals and you haven't seen results. You just started practicing. You're very, very new on the path. And I will let you determine what new is, because I have some clients that tell me they're new to the spiritual practice, but they've been practicing for a couple years and they still feel that they are new. I have some people that say, I just had my spiritual awakening a couple of months ago and this is all new to me. I never knew anything about this. I've only done a ritual, or maybe I haven't done one yet because I'm still trying to learn and understand and study what I'm doing. So you can place yourself where you are as a new. Even for those of us that are seasoned, you could be practicing for 10-15 years and suddenly get to a space where it's time to completely shift what it is that you are doing. It's that point in your life where you have a tower moment, where everything you thought you knew that you have been doing to get you to where you want to be just kind of crumbles and falls apart, and you rebuild it and you end up doing something completely different. So how do we know? Well, one thing is what you're doing, it's just not working. You're just not seeing results. You're not seeing growth. You're not seeing any indication, any signs, any synchronicities, anything that you're moving forward. Now, this is not to be confused with sometimes we want certain things that are just not going to serve our highest good. And if that's really the case, the universe will not bring them to us. But something else better will show up in place of that at some point. Sometimes we are doing rituals for things that we feel like we deserve when we deserve more. Or we feel like we want, but we're not ready for it. And the ego and the heart and the mind and the subconscious and the shadow self are kind of all going against each other, and the result of that is nothing. Maybe you're getting 10% of what you're trying to manifest or generate or attract, or whatever term you want to use, and you're like, it's trickling in. I'm getting a little something, seeing a little something, but I'm not seeing everything. Is it a block? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what is it? And it just may simply be that what you're doing or what you've been doing, it's time to change. I find a lot of people will tend to get into a rhythm of their spiritual practice, and they'll find something that may work for them for some time, and they think that that's the end all be all, and they're supposed to just stay there. I find some people end up in the path that they're on for many, many, many reasons. It may be something that you were drawn to. It may be something that, you know, was a tradition hand down through family. Sometimes people tend to gravitate towards spiritual system based on culture or ethnicity, or you may feel, because I'm melanated, I need to go back to my roots and my ancestors and practice this. Or you may feel that if you are, maybe you come from a European descent, that you may be drawn to other forms of spiritual practices, Celtic practice, Wicca. I mean, the list can go on and on, right? One may feel that if they are, and I'm not trying to stereotype, I'm not trying to put anybody in a box, okay? You are free to practice anything that your spirit feels drawn to, because this is your experience. So I don't want anyone to feel limited or feel like I have to do this because I'm this, or I can't do this because I'm not this. However, some people, again, in the traditional, which I hate that word, but traditionally may just feel or be taught or been cultured into a belief system that because you are identified with such, you're supposed to do this, or whatever the case may be. And it may work for you, right? And then again, it may not. Or it may work for you and it may stop. I will give you an example. For many, many years, I want to say this correctly. So I worked with Oshun for a number of years. She was the most loving, most beautiful, powerful, gentle but strong, beautiful energy and deity that came to me. Previous to working with her, I had practiced other areas of magic. I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to work with Oshun. She came to me in a way that was quite interesting. I've talked about it in old videos on my YouTube channel. And I was not initiated into any particular spiritual system. And some may say, well, you weren't initiated and that's why you had the experience that you have. I'm not here to argue with anyone who has been. And that may very well be the case. I don't know. I do know that she did come to me, and it was a 5-6 year long beautiful relationship, and she did so much for me in my life and led me to so many great things, and I have to say has contributed to why I'm where I'm at now. And then suddenly, over a gradual period of time, I started to feel that connection just wasn't there anymore. And I couldn't understand why. It was jarring and confusing and upsetting, and I thought I did something wrong, and I thought, am I being disrespectful? I thought, am I not supposed to work with her because I'm not initiated? I went through all these different feelings and emotions, and I started studying, and I never, again, I don't want to ever disrespect anyone's spiritual practice or culture or system, those of you that are initiated, but I just felt the connection just wasn't there like it was in the beginning. And it came to what I realized, and actually a friend had said to me one day, he said, have you ever considered that maybe you're just in a different place in your spiritual growth and practice at this point, and maybe she showed up for you at that time in your life because those were lessons that you needed to learn, and that was the energy that you needed to work with, but perhaps she has done all that she's able to do, and you are just in a different place, and you need to explore a different way or energy of practicing your magic to get further and get ahead from where you are. And it was like, duh, a light bulb came on. So it's kind of a bittersweet, I don't even want to say separation, because Oshun's energy is still always around me. I will always and forever honor her. I will always praise and just I will never deny the part of my life that she showed up in, the things that she did. I also know that I got to a place in my life where me going to her and asking for certain things, it was just kind of like, when mama bird kicks baby bird out the nest, it's like, all right, honey, this is the end of the road here. And I still get a lot of signs and synchronicities from her on a regular basis, but I just know my spiritual practice has shifted and evolved in a different direction, and I just no longer work with her. So I eventually took her altar down, and I thanked her, and I did a beautiful ritual out by the river and gave her offerings and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into all of that, but my point is my spiritual practice shifted and changed. And for a little bit, I was a little kind of like feeling like I was kind of floating out there, not knowing what to do, and sometimes doing nothing. You don't always have to work with a deity or a spirit or a god or a goddess or an ancestor. You don't always have to call upon something outside of just yourself and the elements, earth, air, water, and fire. I'm also going to be doing a series of videos on elemental magic. So if you guys are interested in me breaking down how to work with both, or how to work with each element, based on your earth element, please comment down below elemental. Let's just comment down element video, and depending on how many people leave that comment, I will definitely be getting to work on that sometime next week. But my spiritual practice has shifted. A lot of you guys know I work with Ganesh. Ganesh, ooh, it's my papi chulo right there. The Lord and the God of removing obstacles and prosperity and abundance. He is a Hindu deity. I'm not Hindu, clearly. However, I don't feel that that prohibits me from honoring him and working with him and recognizing his divine power. And through, hands down, without a question of a doubt, he has shown up for me and has done things in my life that you could not tell me that that wasn't clearly through his amazing energy and power. I also kind of came to an understanding for me, you know, when you want to remove obstacles in your life, when you want to grow in a certain area of your life, you have to work with those energies that are aligned with that. So for me, removing obstacles and working on prosperity and abundance and wealth and things of those nature just made sense to work with a spirit that aligns with that. Now, I'm not saying Oshun is not capable of doing those things. I just feel like personally, a lot of her attributes served that feminine, divine, feminine goddess energy that I needed, but she wasn't who I was to work with for this aspect of my life. So I decided to do some homework and research, and I decided to work with a god whose attributes, his strong points, his specialties are the area of my life where I came to being after working with her and having her grace. I'm a firm believer that if you're trying to manifest money, work with the money deity. I'm not going to go to a deity of health asking for money unless I'm asking for money to pay the hospital bill or something. And even then, I would still go to a prosperity deity. Are y'all following me? Am I making sense here? I'm trying to explain this in a very clear way so you guys can understand where I'm coming from and how you can identify if perhaps this may be time for you to switch up. Again, this is my personal experience. I'm not telling you that you need to switch or you need to go find a deity that aligns with what you're doing. If you're working with someone and it's working, great. If you are initiated or you belong to a spiritual system and this is what you've been taught, fantastic. You know, there's really no right or wrong way. All I'm saying is if what you're doing isn't working, you're not seeing results, it may be time to do two things. One, go back and examine who you are working with, whether it's ancestors, so forth and so on. And two, going inward and identifying where you are at that point in your life and seeing if maybe you've outgrown that spiritual force. Maybe that spiritual force has outgrown you. Maybe the two of you just aren't aligning anymore. The last thing I will leave, that was so strange. Did you guys didn't see that or feel that? Something just literally walked by me. The last thing I'm going to leave with you guys is, for example, working with ancestors. So my grandparents, they weren't rich, you know what I mean? They were okay. They owned a home and property and all that sort of stuff, and they lived a comfortable lifestyle. However, they were not balling. You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of you that choose to work with your ancestors, I'm not going to go to my ancestors and ask them to help me achieve certain things that they weren't able to achieve here in the 3D realm. It's fine to honor them, but why would I go ask a bunch of people who never knew how to make large amounts of money in their life to help me make large amounts of money? Just because they've crossed over on the other side doesn't mean, they may have a few pointers that they've learned, but that doesn't mean that they miraculously have inherited this power or these tips or this way of just opening. They're just going to rain money on me because now they're gone on the other side. Some of you may disagree with that, and that's okay. But if my grandparents were only able to get so far in life, and no matter what they did, they couldn't get any further, I'm not going to go to them. I'm not going to go to my ancestor altar to get something that they weren't even able to accomplish. That's just personally how I feel. I'm going to go to the energy, the source, the God, the ritual, the whatever, the candle that is able to give me that. You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to leave that with you guys. This is food for thought. If some of you have been thinking or wondering that, maybe it's time for me to switch deities, or maybe it's time for me to switch it up, take this as a sign as yes. Do your homework, do your research, do some studying. If you feel drawn to something, initiated or not, that might mean this is your spirit saying, you know what, let's go study and research this and see if this is something that would be beneficial to apply to our life. Is this something that's drawing me in a direction that's going to help my growth? In whatever capacity that growth looks like. So I hope this video was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you enjoy this content, that you got some use out of it. It also circulates this information to other people just like you who are on their spiritual journey and in searching for answers to simple questions to help improve their life, okay? Be sure to subscribe. I love you guys. All of my social media info will be down in the description box. Stay tuned to my channel. Remember, you are only one ritual away, and I will see everybody in my next video. Talk to you soon.